Hello everyone, this is Paolo from the Garrison Archangel team, and this is Wednesday Warzone for October 2019. And as you can see, I was actually playing around with the new pattern and overlays feature that we recently added to the game just last week. It was also covered in the Archangel announcements we also released last week, Wednesday. And that Archangel announcement actually covered all the new stuff we added in September and October. So I know you guys have been waiting for a while for a Wednesday Warzone. This Wednesday Warzone will actually will go in depth in video format regarding the features we showed in the last Archangel announcement for September and October, and this is the first of those. If you're on our preview branch, we actually someone said it succinctly. We actually stealth updated the preview branch, and we added this new pattern. There are three patterns. The first pattern is for an alternate layout of how you color your mech. The second pattern is actually a generic color add-on, depending on what you want to add. You can change the colors of the patterns you get in this mode. And the third one is a glow pattern, which you add to make this effect. So now it looks like color vomit. Yeah. On top of the patterns I was talking about, so the marking patterns are usually for the logos of the corporations or the different factions. For now, the glow patterns are the same as well, but in the future we'll actually add more generic patterns like hexes, grids, lines. This is experimental. Actually, our original plan when we started making these patterns was for our original plans were just for these alternate color patterns, and we showed this a while back. I'm trying to remember. It was like really early on in the process. It's like 2 years ago, 1 year ago. But yeah, we promised this, and we've been sitting on it for a long while, and now we've decided to release them, especially since we now got a system for them working, and so that you can have additional rewards for for playing missions mode and helping out certain factions. So on top of these, the typical patterns like stripes, the dazzle. Personally, I love dazzle and the hexagon, and of course you have the camo, and I think a lot of the more simulationist players would like camo. And we even have the metro outline. Now you look like an abstract piece of art. We also have we have different kinds of camo types: tiger, scalene. So you can unlock these by helping out certain factions in missions mode and achieving officer and paragon rank. On top of that, you also get the marking pattern linked to that faction and a glow pattern linked to the faction. And yeah, we'll be adjusting some of these. We might remove them if they're too redundant. For example, if people think this is too similar to this, although it's really not, honestly. We might remove them, or we'll do the opposite and we'll go absolutely bonkers and put in more patterns and grid lines. So yeah, that's the thing with that's about it for the patterns. I suggest you guys just check it out, play missions mode, and get the unlocks and check it out for yourselves. So I just showed off as much as I could with these. As for the glow patterns, like I said, they're not final. Those were actually test symbols that we just wanted to have like a repeating pattern and of existing patterns. We will continue fixing that and refining that until we have like suitable glow patterns on top of your camo or whatever pattern paint job pattern you add on here. So on top of that, we actually have other cosmetics that we have planned as reward, particularly for helping out the big four factions. I'm sure people who've played missions mode till the neutral ending have noticed a strange outgrowth on certain archangels. So we will be adding that as a cosmetic option in the future. So stay tuned for that. We might also uh, make new parts, but they're not linked to any manufacturers. So that's also on the table. So we'll see about that in the future. So there's that for the pattern. It's a little simple, but I know it's really big because I know a lot of our players like dressing up their mechs. So it's actually really a big thing for customization's sake, especially because it's a coloring option. In Garrison Archangel, you can actually separate arms from the body. For example, let's take this. I mean, we have so much of this. I'm sorry, Red Rory, I'm taking this. So let's say, for example, you want only the chest to be, or only the arms to be camouflaged. So let's go for the arms. You can do that. You can make it like, so only the arms are camouflaged. Now let's go, or only the legs. So, or you can even have like different camouflage for the arms and legs. So yeah, the possibilities are really endless. So I made it like sound really short, but you guys are free to make the most absolute like color vomit mech out there, or just be really aesthetic about it. So like your weapons are solid, but the rest of your gear is like straight out of a military. Your mech has camo, but your weapons are solid, for example. Let's make the arms have different, like, so let's make it drab, olive drab, yeah, something like that. Whatever. Okay, nope. So the accent, maybe neon green. How about a dark green? Okay. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's do that for the legs too. Suddenly it became a coloring session with Paolo. But I think you guys get my drift. Get what I'm trying to say. I think, yeah, I hope. So you can make like a truly military spec looking, like a military archangel rather than just whatever, just the machines you're used to in the arena. So yeah, that's enough about that. Let's move on to the next. So the next thing, but I know you guys are excited to try it out. It's already in the preview build. We actually give you some patterns to play around with, even without completing the missions mode. So you can try it out off the bat. You won't have any of the glow markings and the pattern markings featuring the corporate symbols though. So those you have to unlock via single player. Ooh, here we go again. Anyway, that was also part of our it's already in our Archangel announcements. We actually talked in depth about the ship. I guess it can't help. We'll show you guys the ship, but it'll be a teaser, so I won't. And the ship isn't in its final state. There were features we actually put in the Archangel announcements that aren't on this version of the ship yet. But just to give you an idea of what to expect. So where'd my enemy go? Yeah, so if you guys have played the carrier map, it's quite similar, but really like amped up. So everything here is gonna try and shoot you down. So there is a safe space right now for this version of the map under, but with that big cannon there and the missile launchers, don't be too don't be too sure of yourself. Okay, so oh, I got stuck. Okay. Oof. And then you can have one-on-one duels on the underside because there are less what do you call this, defenses there. So just something to consider when you encounter this mission. But of course, in the actual missions mode, even the background isn't final yet, by the way. You will encounter this ship in a fleet battle, so you will expect way more archangels and more military equipment brought out. Actually, this version of the map is intended for like just for duel, like general fights between players. It's meant to be playable in custom game, but of course, right now it's unfinished, so you guys will just have to wait for it to come out. We actually also have the Sunfield Frontier flagship in development, but it's not in this version yet. We intend to have these two maps playable by the end of October, and to have the final mission for both Ducaron and Sunfield Frontier, at the very least, playable for October. So there's that. We will see about adding the Piedrana and the Imperial Legion endings soon. We hope we'll be able to add them in as well. So we know people are hankering for giant boss battles, and these are like the first 2 out of 4. So next, we actually also added, I think I covered this in a previous Wednesday Warzone, but as you all know, this is like the gist video format of the Archangel announcements that I posted just last week. So another thing we changed are particularly for Carrier and Flotilla, and there was actually a question earlier regarding them. I'll just show everyone what exactly has changed. So Carrier and Flotilla used to be just simple platforms on the... Oh my, what's up? What just happened? Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. So, yeah. Let me just put down the audio. So, actually, what was added in the Carrier and Flotilla maps, I just have to confirm something. We actually added turrets that fire on all the players, so they randomly like select targets within their range and fire on them. So it adds an additional layer of hazard to the hazard map. Normally, hazards in our game are basically static environmental hazards, like falling off a cliff or falling into lava or getting waterlogged by falling into water or sinking, basically. Those were the environmental hazards. They weren't like active hazards that tried chasing after you or tried to shoot you down. So one of the things we wanted to try was to make that kind of hazard, especially in preparation of the final boss battles involving the flagships. And one of the things we changed to like test out that feature are existing maps like the Flotilla and Carrier maps. So yeah, the turrets in the Carrier and Flotilla maps have actually been converted to actual like turrets that fire on you. So okay, this one works. All right, let me just put it back. Yeah, so this is the change to the Carrier map. You see missile launchers, turrets. The water has also been modified to not instantly kill you, but in addition to all, basically to make the existence of these more manageable. So on top of your enemy, you'll also be managing like all these. Whoa! The enemy had a nuke the entire time. So it's like an anime where I just figured out he had a nuke the entire time. Okay, back to what I was saying. Sorry, what was I saying? Jeez. Okay. On top of fighting your enemy, you also have to manage the turrets that are firing at both of you. So in missions mode, we will sometimes make these turrets work against you, strictly against you, or for you. But in duel, like in custom game with a match you can play with your friends, they'll just be randomly firing at whoever crosses their radar, basically, or crosses their sensor. So there's that addition. There's an additional pressure on top of your enemy of like the environment actively trying to kill you. So it's a new experience basically for players who want something new in Garrison Archangel. On top of that, we made lava add the burning status effect, because when we originally made the lava map, we just gave it damage, but the game has changed since then. Lava has been there like since 1 year ago or 2 years ago, maybe during our itch.io days. The lava map should apply stacks of burning, and I think it did, but there was 1 second out. Let me double check. So look at me diving into lava. Oh my goodness. Okay, you stay down there. Why is that? It's not triggering on my end. But anyway, that's one of our intended designs. So lava should also add burning, because we added the burning status effect when we introduced the Schaefer, and we actually introduced the Schaefer first as just a damage weapon, but then people were comparing it to the Wesp and it was too similar, so we decided to make like a totally new like we didn't intend to have status effects in this game ever. We added a new status effect that's basically burn that deals damage over time, even if the enemy has the actual attack of the enemy was long over. There was like a lingering damaging effect on your mech. So the lava will also be changed to also cause burning. Right now you can actually like sink really far into the lava, which is funny for me. But yeah, there's a lot of changes we're doing to existing maps, and that's one of them. On top of the carrier having turrets and like a third wheel kind of aspect to your fights with your duels or your fights with friends. So there's that too. Another thing, it's kind of minor, but I think it'll add to the mood of the game. Oh no, this isn't minor. I know people have been wanting this for a while. So one of the things we did that was really funny but looks really cool is we basically took the shaft map that there were complaints about. There were people who didn't like it, or it was a little awkward. The concept was cool, but the execution wasn't quite there. So we tried something funny, which was basically put it on its side. And I have to say, this is one of the most like atmospheric atmospheric changes we did. It feels like you're racing down a tunnel, like I said in a previous Wednesday Warzone. Maybe casual, but oh my goodness. Wow. You're not supposed to do that. Whoa. Okay. So, wow, casual. I mean, giving me a run for my money. Okay, yeah, so basically the drift is the shaft turned sideways. Makes you feel like you're racing down a tunnel against time or whatever, and you're fighting the enemies who are also skating alongside you. So I know there was a lot of positive feedback about how it looks and how it feels, and we'll keep it in the game. It's gonna be a permanent addition because it's cool. We also received some feedback earlier regarding visibility for the what do you call this? Because in missions mode there's a mission that's called the capture area mode, and we actually indicate a dome, like a 3D dome. We overlay it with a map, and you can go in there if you want to capture the point, basically. So here we receive feedback. We just want to say we received that feedback regarding the dome's visibility in this map. We're going to investigate that. which it shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't be happening because basically the map is dark and the dome we produce is bright red. So that's weird. Anyway, other things we added. So we have the eternal sky, which is basically just an orb, and then just lots of clouds and sky everywhere. So just to evoke the feel of, oh my goodness, teal. Anyway, just forget that. That was my friend who's playing another game. Anyway, uh, oof. Yeah, I'm randomizing the mechs, so I have to get used to them first. So as you can see, Eternal Sky is basically just one big skybox uh, with the feeling of going through clouds, and it's one big orb, and you're constantly falling. But gravity is also reduced, so you feel like you're floating. So we just want to make the feel of like flying around, not having a ground to stand on, but not worrying as well, because there are lots of maps that kill you instantly when you fall, or like burn you up, or like you start sinking in water. So we just wanted a map that made you feel free. So kind of like Shaft, but the feeling is sideways, or no, not necessarily directional. Right now it's sideways because there's a strong wind blowing, and clouds are like flowing in a direction. So there's that. And finally, what I wanted to really show, I thought I just forgot about Eternal Sky. Finally, we have the different versions of existing maps. And we did this because you'll be encountering these maps over and over again in missions mode. So we just wanted to have like different lighting, different times of day kind of maps. So there's that. There's the Abandoned City, which is a city sector that has been abandoned. Basically, it's a city sector without any lights, without any people, and for whatever reason, no one wants to go back there, except for you guys, because you're fighting each other. And one of the additions, the abandoned map doesn't have it yet in this version. Okay, let's see if we actually added some stuff just to make settings feel more alive. So I think city sector has it, so I'll just double check. City sector. Okay, let's do it. All right. Oh, I'm the Chad bot. Where are the roads? Oh. So yeah, you can see it was like you can be a jerk and just step on people's cars, break the city's infrastructure. Yeah. You can all feel like a stompy, but absolutely assholey, robot just destroying stuff. So you're not quite big enough to topple buildings just by walking around, but yeah, you can crush cars and knock over street lamps. And we added this kind of stuff to other maps as well, like Solar Dam. I'm not sure if it's good in this version yet, because a lot of this stuff is really recent. Like we just rolled them out for testing last week, so you can expect to see more destructible items. I know in Solar Farm, there are people who already saw it. The solar panels that are actually destructible, you can just walk on them and break them for whatever reason, because you're wasteful. You don't like solar energy for whatever reason. So we just want to add more destructibles to the game to make it feel more alive, more filled out. Like it's not just block, it's not just power, it's not just skyscrapers and robots. So there we go. We just want to populate existing maps so that they feel more complete. They don't feel like this is all you added, just a plane, some roads, and some buildings. So of course we added some cars and street lamps as well. We're also gonna add some for abandoned cityscape and some stuff in the desert map as well, like old abandoned cars, or like containers that were left scattered around, which you can step on or whatever. Uh, Speaking of containers, we also added those as targets in certain missions. So this is the third big part of the Archangel announcements we had just last week. You can actually, I'm gonna cheat, I'm sorry guys. I have to demonstrate this. So, I just realized it was turned off because like a while ago I had to restart the game. So, I will, sorry, this cheat is not something we can share just yet. But anyway, let's say, yeah, it's spoiler, but okay, so we added Paragon missions in the game. Basically, they lock the final. They are a step right before the maximum prestige level you can gain with a faction. So before you can get that, you have to complete the Paragon mission, which immediately sets you to the maximum, and it gives you unlocks. So there's some lore here regarding why they're gonna fight Medvedev or whatever, because they're like rivals. If you read up on the lore, although it's not in the game yet, if you read up on the emails, they should indicate that they're one of the biggest like producers in the star system. Oh, this is one of the harder ones. Okay, so as you can see, there are turrets waiting on the and cannons too. So you have to get past that. Oh, I got past them. Oh, go my allies. Okay, so they're already defending the dam, and you just have to break and kill all the defenders. So, oh my goodness. Oh my, cannons hurt. Oh no. Okay. What's the status of my allies? They're doing well, I think. Yeah, they wiped out that side. Okay. Okay, so I destroyed the missile launchers, the cannons, okay. And at the same time, you can also encounter like an enemy ghost right off the bat, because this is a very important, a plot important installation. If you complete this mission, Medvedev will hate you because this was they'll know and they'll turn into your nemesis, which means for the run it's almost impossible to kind of get them to like you again. There are ways, I think, but I'm not sure if it will allow you to come back and like get Medvedev as a possible mission provider. So I'll lose on purpose because I don't want to spoil as well what's going to happen next. I have one ally. Oh. Oh, yeah, the wave isn't over, so just expect these missions to be really hard. Like you saw off the bat, we started at the bottom of the dam and we had to fly up because there were defense emplacements all over the place. So, and then the enemies spawned their archangels right on top of us. So it's definitely going to be a challenge. Right now I'm playing with just level 1 basic stuff. All I have are fancy colors, but there you go. So there. After that, I know there are people who play this because it's actually in our preview version of the game. So as you can see, there was another Archangel summon, but I'll leave it to you guys to try the mission for yourself, because like I said, it's already the preview version of the game, and you can opt into our preview version just by following a thread we put in the discussions in our Steam discussions page. You can follow the instructions on that thread. The reason we separated preview from our public version of the game is because preview gets updated almost every week, and sometimes there are bugs. We add a completely new feature we've tested minimally because we rely on the community to also help us out with this. So there are completely big new features that impact a lot of things in the game. So we just want to make sure those are like done. Done or ironed out or smoothened out before we release it to public. For now, we haven't released to public for a long while because we intend to finish all the Paragon and the 4 endings first. For now, I think if we finish the flagship battles and put in the endings for Dukeron and Sunfield Frontier, I think we can like have one public update, one push for a public update, and one wait, no, sorry. After we finish those missions, we'll leave it in preview for a while and have people like test first, because obviously we just want to make sure everything's working swell and good before we push to public. Our original plan was to complete everything in single player mode, including endings, all the rewards and all the rewards and all the features basically. But at the same time, because we might go back to having tournaments, we need to make sure there's a public build anyone can pick up, like Garrison Archangel, and play without any additional like instructions. So we just want to make sure our player base is playing on a more recent version of Garrison Archangel, because our public, the last update we have for public is really like old. I think it's 2 months or was it 3 months ago since we last released, missions mode for public play. Missions mode for public play only has the neutral endings, so that's why we left it there for now. So there's been a lot of stuff that's changed. For example, the Paragon missions, unlockables, the new pattern feature, and another feature which I'll now move into. That was a lengthy transition. And another feature, key mechanic that I want to show off. So let's fight a hard opponent. And so, okay, one of the major changes we did over the past week are shields. So shields traditionally have only been used to deflect damage and occasionally parry people or bash them. So that's what they were good for. But we felt that, and we did some bug fixing regarding, we changed a lot of mechanics regarding shields. There were long time bugs that we were able to address finally to make shield play proper. But then we found out shields were either obsolete or too powerful at what they did. So here are the new mechanics regarding shields that I'll cover, which I covered pretty badly. Maybe I should go down a level just so I can slow down and talk about it. So first, shields all have a feature called Perfect Guard. So if you notice, when I raise the shield, it flashes white. If I'm hit during that period, that orb occurs, which means I perfectly deflect one source of damage. So I won't deflect that. I won't try to perfect guard that. That's continuous damage. So as you saw earlier regarding the swarm missiles, I would have actually fallen or taken more damage if I didn't perfect guard. So that orb occurs when an attack hits the shield during perfect guard. Wow, I timed that wrong. It completely wow. Oh yeah, okay, let's do it again. I'm using medium shield, okay. Okay, so that's a normal guard. Oh, that's a guard break. Sorry, I'll try that again. Let's do that again. When you use a shield, when you guard an attack, only a portion of the damage goes through, like 90%. The rest of the damage goes to the shield. If you see that 78, 89, 99, 98%, that's called the shield durability. And the stability damage of the attack goes to the shield durability. So he's not using any deflect attacks. Okay, portion of the damage goes to durability, and basically that's how you avoid getting flinched or stunned. But at the same time, the shield's durability is your new stability bar, because if that runs out, you enter shield break, or guard break, which stuns you for a short duration. Which, by the way, stun has been unified in this new patch. It basically prevents you from canceling out and doing any sort of movement or action and at the same time, it restores your vulnerability to full. So it's a really bad state to be in. The only thing that changes with stuns, regardless of the types, the only thing that changes between the stuns caused by the various types, oh my gosh, that level 2 is really fast, is the duration of the stun. So different effects will cause different durations of stun. Guard break and parry cause really long stun. There, I did a deflect. That wasn't a perfect guard. That was a deflect. That's another new feature of the shield. So some attacks are fast and they basically bounce off shields if they hit shields. And the attacks that are slower or have no additional like features like hyper armor, guard frames, or iframes, they can they can bash against the shield unless I perfect guard it just like that. That was so random. That's what perfect guard does to melee attacks, regardless of their type, regardless if they're power attacks or not. They will bounce the attack, causing a mini stun, like a really short duration of stun that stops the enemy. So there's that, and there's another effect of perfect guard. Actually, what I described is the old perfect guard before we added this new feature. What the perfect guard actually does against melee attacks is it reflects the stability damage of the melee attack back to the user, and if they hit vulnerability, if their stability goes into the red as a result of the attack, it'll stun them, and only then will it stun them. So it depends on if you're able to perfect guard a particularly strong attack, if you're able to stun the enemy. So it's a very conditional, and it's really hard. I swear. There we go. I stunned him for a bit, but I missed. So it's a very conditional move, but if you can like master it, and it becomes easier with certain shields, like the small shield, like that. See, I was able to kind of stun him. It'll what's this? It makes shields a more active item, active equipment, rather than just like you hold it up and then you walk around, and then you just put it down and then you hold it up and do something, or you hold it up and restore your boost or your stability and just put it down. Now you can like use shields to actively play with a guy, like time his attacks. Oop. He saw that. He cancelled out. Jeez. Am I really fighting a casual opponent? Oh, gosh. Oh my goodness, that level 2 is really fast. Okay, so it forces you to kind of play in the moment. How do I... like actively trade and fight with the guy, especially in melee. Because you can now get rewarded for like knowing the timings and timing it right. So it's really hard to use against neutrals, but then again you can just hold up your shield because neutrals get bounded. I timed it right somehow then. So oh, there we go. See, so the tackle attack of the tower shield actually deals a lot of stab damage, so he just got like stunned off the bat. So perfect guards are very useful, especially against melee enemies, but you really have to know the timing like that. So if you're early, you're blocking, but it's best to like kind of hold it. So, and then just watch out for the power attacks. You'll know they're power attacks because they don't rebound, even if you miss time. When you miss time, they don't rebound. So, oh no, that was bad. Okay, yeah, well. Oh, I won. I won. Thank you, rifle. Oh no, it was the missiles. Okay. So, there you go. I'm doing a really bad demonstration because this guy's really... I don't know why. Okay, that level 2 is really fast. People were commenting the Labrys is one of the best like projectile weapons in the game. and I couldn't believe it. I was like, why don't you just whack the enemy with the axe? And now I see. So we'll see about that in the future. Actually, we did some changes to it. We did some balance changes to it because it's really strong, but at the same time we want to keep it in its niche where it's a strong melee weapon, but the melee is really short range, but it also has really strong projectile options, although it doesn't play like the Magnum Barrett and the Shanqiang. Okay, so as you can see there, I just used the shield traditionally. I held it up because I was at 100% durability, and I know that attack can't break the shield. So there's also that. Shields still have their traditional role of just preventing damage, but we just gave them more options to kind of play rather than just, oh, I'm holding the shield up till my other stuff comes online, or oh, I'll hold my shield up till I approach the opponent or whatever. Or I'll just hold it up now that I am overloaded. Oh, that was bad. Don't do that. If an attack has multiple hits, it'll most likely break the shield because of how much hits it has. So don't try shielding a nuke. Unfortunately, it won't work. But yeah, just use the shield sparingly. Like plan on when you're planning to deflect attacks, and the shield should be your new best friend for this update. So we actually intend to change up certain shield attacks. We're planning to apply the shield's guard frame state, for example, to the bash attack of this. Oh wait, sorry. Because when you're blocking using a shield, it's different from the guard frame of other weapons, which basically just deflect everything. So the shield actually absorbs only a portion of the damage, and the rest, the stability, goes into the durability, like I mentioned. So certain shields have abilities like this bash, and the tower shield like bash as well, where they're given either no additional aspects or they have guard frame. In the case of the tower shield, it has a guard frame